What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about HyperCharts. This is the financial data piece of Hyperchange. It's a website that we launched about 3 months ago. It's a project that, sort of was born out of scratching my own itch. I teamed up with someone who watches the channel by the name of Mo Saleh, a super talented software engineer, and we just jammed on this idea of being able to make, financial data and SEC filings more accessible to the public, making it easier and more fun to do financial research by taking all of this complex data and making it super easy to understand and interactive in beautiful charts accessible from anywhere to anyone on the internet. And so that's what we set out to build with HyperCharts. I launched a video I put out 3 months ago, and we had about 5 companies showing you guys the beta version of the platform. Since then, we put a ton of work into expanding it, new companies, new features, all of that stuff that I want to show you today. So let's, without further ado, jump right into HyperCharts world so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, welcome to HyperCharts world. And so this is the homepage. You can go to hypercharts.co, www.hypercharts.co, and this you'll be taken there. It works really well on your phone as well. Here I am on my MacBook though. And so as you can see, this is the homepage. We have about, all of, and this is, I'm actually logged into my account right now. So all of these blue stars next to companies are companies that I've favorited. So those are at the top of my homepage, sorted by market capitalization, size of the company. Then these are all the other companies we have. So as you can see, we have added, now we have 27 companies on HyperCharts. We originally launched with 5 companies 3 months ago. So in the past 3 months, we've gone through the SEC filings and historical financials of 27, all of these other companies, and added them. There's a ton of the hot new IPOs like Lyft. We added, Slack, Uber, Zoom, Pinterest. So we try to add companies that will add the most value. And so this is the homepage. You can see earnings are coming up. So this is part of the reason I wanted to make this episode, is because earnings are happening right now. This is the time once every 3 months when companies report their financials to the public. This data is accessible. This is really exciting. This moves stocks a ton because you get to see their financial performance. And so on HyperCharts, we've been updating all of this. For example, I can go to Amazon. And we can see they just came out their Q1 results, so we've added that here to HyperCharts. Let's see how they did. They did operating income. See, Amazon has slowly been getting more and more profitable. I think that's super interesting. But this is just to sort of illustrate the power of HyperCharts. We're here, we're looking at Amazon. Let's say I want to zoom in into the operating income. This is basically profit, a record quarter for profit, 4.4 billion for Amazon. We can keep scrolling down the net income chart. These are the margins charts. So as you can see, Amazon's gross margin have been in a sort of strategic long-term uptrend. These are quarterly numbers, by the way. And then we have operating margin and profit margin. We've added operating margin as well. This wasn't on the margin chart previously, but I pushed because this is like my favorite metric is EBIT, operating margin, operating income. So we've added that there in the darker red. And you can see how that correlates to net income, which I think is also very interesting. Operating expenses here. This chart isn't new, but it's always really fascinating. It breaks down exactly what the operating expenses of the company are. You can toggle in between them, see the trend on where they're spending money and how that's growing. Then we have here, you can see as a percentage of revenue, the same operating expenses. Then we have this is a great chart, in my opinion, the growth chart, which shows the revenue growth of the company along with the operating expenses growth. Once again, all the charts on HyperCharts you can toggle, which is really fun and actually very useful as well. But so that's just to show you, but I think it's really interesting to see. You want to see that blue line outpacing that red line to show margin expansion, revenue growing faster than operating expenses. And so I love that chart, makes it so easy. Here's the cash flow chart for each company. We have cash on the balance sheet here, cash and investments. Amazon has 37 billion in cash as of Q1. That's crazy. And then this chart is really cool. The revenue multiples. So this is like valuation multiples. This is new that we've added. Basically, we'll show you, the price sales ratio on a quarterly basis for the companies. And we're actually taking the average share price throughout the quarter, calculating the average market cap throughout the quarter using that, and then using that to the revenue data to get this number. And that's how you can see Amazon is in a slowly uptrend, getting slowly more expensive over time on a price sales basis or on a price revenue basis. And I think part of the reason for that is because their gross margin has been expanding, so their revenue has been getting more profitable. That's why it's being valued more highly. And as you can see, we can validate that by checking here on the gross margin chart. So that's just to give you a little bit of the flavor of the platform. I'm sure you guys love Tesla. So, Tesla is one of our most popular companies. First chart here, vehicles delivered by quarter. You can zoom in even by model. I think this is really helpful. We've broken down revenue by different segments so you can see where they're generating their revenue from. This is, once again, the most important chart, at least in my opinion, if you want to do financial analysis on any company. Revenue, top line number, gross profit, and then basically profit, operating income. This will sum up, you can learn so much from just this chart, and it's so hard to find this chart for any company on the internet anywhere this simple that's why I love it. One of the other huge things that we've added to HyperCharts recently is the stock price. This is probably the biggest feature we've been working on, in addition to just expanding companies and that sort of stuff for free users at least, and this is stock prices. So I wanted to make it easy to check the stock price on HyperCharts. I think this is still a feature we're working with and we want to expand. HyperCharts, like you can see, is still in beta. Like, this is very much a project that's in the works that we want to learn from, and it's evolving constantly. But the point is, we've launched a stock price feature, so you can check here, toggle, change the time frame. I'm actually a premium user, so that's why I'm able to look at these 5-year charts. If you're not logged into a premium account, you're going to be able to get stopped. I think you can only view the 1 day and 1 month chart. And the reason for that is we're actually getting charged. It's way more expensive for us to display this data for the longer term chart, so that's why we added that to the premium. But for Tesla, for instance, not just the stock price tab, this has been added for every company's stock price, but for Tesla, there's also even more charts. And we don't have a ton of companies on HyperCharts, only 27, as I've said, but we do have really, really good data on all of those companies. And that's something we want to double down on, is really good quality charts on these companies. And so for Tesla, we have the market share chart, Tesla Model 3, Model S, Model X for the electric vehicle market. And once again, this is all toggleable. It's super fun. We can take out Tesla to see how the growth in the EV industry is doing. Yeah, all sorts of cool stuff like that. Perhaps the biggest thing that we've launched with HyperCharts is HyperCharts Premium. And so this is part of our business model, to monetize and make HyperCharts sustainable, is we want to launch a premium feature set. It costs $10 a month right now. You can sign up and get a 14-day free trial if you sign up on HyperCharts Premium, hypercharts.co/premium. And the whole point of this is going to bring way more power and functionality to our platform for those investors who are sort of like power users. And even if you don't want premium, you can still actually create an account on HyperCharts and track all your favorite companies. So like the way that I have, you can see all these companies here with stars, all of my favorite companies. And then at the top bar here, whenever I go to HyperCharts, on the top bar, there's all my favorite companies that I've starred that I can go to really quickly. So like I can build a little mini watch list or portfolio. Anyone can do that if you're free, for a free account. So I would all encourage you to create free accounts and use that watch list feature. But the other huge thing is premium. And so we've launched HyperCharts Premium, which I have in my account. One of the biggest features, the main thing, is compare. And so this is sick. I absolutely love this. So you can compare any metric, actually a ton of different metrics from any company on our platform. So let's say we want to go to Tesla versus NIO. We can compare their revenue. As you can see, NIO basically not a drop in the bucket. I actually think Tesla and Netflix is a really interesting comparison, because Netflix is valued at 100 and something billion, like this crazy huge valuation multiple. Let's check this. And as you can see, Tesla used to be way lower than Netflix in revenue, but has recently surpassed them. But I guess Netflix, Tesla's still a little bit higher than Netflix in Q1, but we'll see how that goes. So a ton of interesting stuff like that. Let's say we want to add the FANGs, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, see what they're doing. I think there's a really cool chart here, or we could just look at revenue. This is pretty interesting. I also like market cap, the race to $1 trillion. So we can see that it looks like Apple is in the lead just above Amazon. Another really interesting one here is revenue multiple. I love this one, comparing it. So we can see that Facebook is the green there. We can also toggle it there. Facebook in the green in a huge downtrend for its revenue multiple, while companies like Netflix actually in an uptrend for their revenue multiple. Then we have Apple and Amazon flat, much cheaper on a price sales basis. We can check price operating income, so basically price earnings basis. Wow, Amazon way up there before getting less expensive. So many, the power of this is incredible. I mean, I think we have Uber and Lyft that we've added. And so if you want to compare the revenue multiples of those, I think this is, or I guess they won't have revenue multiples because they just started trading, but we can do revenue, which I think is interesting. Uber way bigger than Lyft, but if we look at the revenue year-over-year growth rate, we can see that Uber in the blue there is growing way slower than Lyft. And so this is the compare feature. I love this feature. It's super powerful, and it's basically like your imagination is the limit of how fun this is. And with every company we add, it gets more powerful. That's what's so exciting to me about it. And then moving on to another huge feature of Premium that I personally love is the earnings calendar. And so this is what was on the homepage, basically all of the earnings for all of the companies we have on HyperCharts, so you can stay up to date and know when they're going to report those new financials, so you can be on top of their financial data. And what's really sick is if you scroll to the bottom here, I believe this is a Premium feature as well, you can sync it to your calendar. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do this. I can go to all companies. Actually, I only want my favorite companies. Apple C, get that link. And so now I'm here on my Google Calendar page, and then I can go to other calendars plus, then I go from URL, then I just plug in that URL that we just copied, then I add this calendar. Let's see if it works. Calendar added. Now I'm going to go back. And there you go. Just like that, it's added all of the earnings to my calendar, which is sick. Lyft earnings next week. Ooh, I'm gonna check that out. Anyway, so that's the calendar feature, another Premium feature. Some other really cool stuff in Premium mode is, let's say we go to the Lyft page here. Ooh, Lyft, we've been adding some cool colors. I love that. This is the Lyft purple for their active riders and ride stats. But if I'm a Premium user, there's these buttons here, and I can toggle it to table view. So this is really helpful for me. I'm a HyperCharts Premium subscriber, obviously, because I like to take this data, sometimes make custom charts for the videos, sometimes make my own models. And so being able to, look at actually just the raw data itself is super helpful in table view. And then I can toggle back to chart view with that button. Super easy right there. And the other button here, this download button, or that will just immediately download Lyft data rides as a CSV file right there. And so download the data. So if I want to build my own model, that's super useful. If I want to get the revenue data, bam, download it. And that's also a shortcut to the compare feature as well. So there you go. Then I'm already comparing that metric that I just clicked on. And then I want to, add, Slack to see how they're comparing to Lyft. Wow, Lyft is crushing them. Anyway, so that is what it is. I mean, I could be on HyperCharts all day. I think there's once you get hooked and start browsing, there's so many different features. Like this is Square. I love Square because they have so many different revenue components that you can just click and toggle. Subscription, software as a service, exploding, of course. Anyway, so that is HyperCharts. That's my tutorial. HyperCharts I get so excited about it because I always wish something like this existed in the world of financial analysis and, making it easy to understand financial statements and fun. I'm a finance nerd, so I've been manually scraping this data, building my own charts, putting them on HyperCharts for, years and years, and manually making my own models. And now we're sort of digitizing that in this platform, in this web app called HyperCharts. And it's so exciting to me. So, and the mission of HyperChange is to really democratize finance and make it easy, accessible, open, fun. And I think HyperCharts is such a huge key piece of that puzzle towards, making it easy to do financial analysis for everybody for free, just if you have access to the internet and can go to hypercharts.co. And so I love this product. I'm obviously biased, but we've launched HyperCharts Premium. You can go to hypercharts.co/premium to check it out. You get a 14-day free trial. After that, it's $10 a month. We've already had a few people sign up, including not just me, like other people have signed up. So thank you so much. We've been getting a ton of feedback. We also have a request a company page. So if you want to request a company for us to add to HyperCharts, you can do that. And if you're a Premium member, we want to work with you to figure out what features do you want us to build? What companies do you want us to add? This is an interactive, iterative process. And part of the reason I wanted to make this video is to show you guys all of the progress we made for HyperCharts, but also ask you, what do you want to see for HyperCharts? Do you use HyperCharts? Does it add value? Do you only check for earnings? What can we do to make this better for you? We really want to improve it and make this something that you use every single day. You can also follow our Twitter, twitter.com/hypercharts, where we tweet whenever there's earnings. We'll tweet the link to the HyperCharts page and pictures of that new quarter that dropped. So if you want to stay up to date on all the earnings that are coming out, it's great to follow us on Twitter. And so I don't know. I'm so pumped about this. HyperCharts is its own LLC, actually, like HyperCharts. HyperChange owns a piece of it. Mo owns a piece of it. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Mo because he's been so much fun to work with. And I think, we're so early in creating this amazing product. I just can't wait to see where it goes. It's going to keep evolving, keep getting better. Make sure to check it. Give us all your feedback. Let us know what you think. And it's earnings season, so I think there couldn't be a better time to be checking HyperCharts. Anyway, this is HyperChange. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.